So now we're going to kick off the main card. It's a
Yep.
beautiful main card. A lot of history here. And, to quote history right here, we're going to kick it off with Mauricio Shogun Rua, somebody that even I'm very familiar with. I remember even playing the UFC game with this guy so much and just trying to submit man. So, I'm pretty pumped about this one. This is a rematch with Paul Craig. They did go to a draw a few fights ago. Both of them, rebounded with wins, and now we'll be facing off again. So, there's a lot of good stuff in this one for sure.
Yeah, so it's funny because I want to take you on a quick trip down memory lane here. And the only reason I want to do that is because if you think about what we've seen in 2020, despite this world burning around us, true MMA fans have had the pleasure of watching Little Nog and Shogun and Silva all fight in the same year. Shogun's about to fight again. Let's take in that these mans, if you really know the history of MMA, the UFC, and what pride represents in all of this, like even for a guy like Dana, who as a fan knows this man, I know for a fact as a thing of buying pride, as a fanboy, he was probably giddy as hell. Not only buying the promotion, he owns the promotion. The fighters are coming and fighting with him. Could you think about that? You know what I'm saying? It's such an amazing experience.
Yeah, from a business perspective, it's just it's so enticing as a business perspective for sure.
How funny is that? And so what I wanted to kind of tell you is so back in the day, right? Pride, huge deal. Wanderlei Silva was the shit of the shit. Shoot Box Academy, okay? This is one of the camps in Brazil. So who is kind of like the prodigal son of Wanderlei Silva and his whole shoot box team? There's actually two guys, Anderson Silva and Shogun Rua. Also, there's Ninja Rua, which is Shogun's brother, but Shogun is an absolute monster, okay? Now, funny enough, for whatever reason, there's probably big reasons for it, Anderson Silva decides to leave. Where does he go? Brazilian top team with the Nogueira brothers. So this is back in the day. So in the come up of all of these Brazilian guys, when Wanderlei Silva is just destroying the competition and becoming the biggest name in MMA out in Japan, these guys are all kind of, coming on a rise. It's kind of crazy. And you have, Anderson the Spider Silva kind of turning his back on his original team and joining the Nogueira brothers. This is MMA history, man. And we've watched all of these guys kind of hit the octagon in the last year. We watched even Nogueira fight Shogun to a split decision, kind of a funny fight. Obviously not the same as what we watched in Pride. But I mean, speaking of which, I sent you a clip, right? This is the Shogun that was unleashed in Pride. You ready to hit it go?
All right, I got it up here. Yeah, let's go. 3, 2, 1, play. Whoa.
You seeing this, bro?
Oh, man.
Half the shit he was, half the shit he... half the shit...
these kicks are unreal, man.
Half the shit he was good at, bro, is illegal now. You cannot attack the face like this. You can't, kick a downed opponent in any way, and this guy made it an absolute career. There was no one better at it than him. These men were animals, all of them. And
just straight knees to the face while a man is down. I love it.
It's insane how good and the thing that made Shogun so good, I just went on an absolute binge, bro. An absolute binge. So actually, this is Pride Bushido 5. If I'm not mistaken, he fought at Bushido 1, 3, and 5. So this is technically his third real major fight as an early 20-year-old. His first loss was against this guy Renato Sobral, who is a legend in just the game overall. And so this young prodigy, his early 20s, is now just entering Pride in its infancy and just doing this to mans. This. You know what I mean? It blows me away.
That was pretty interesting to see. I'm not that kind of familiar with Pride, back in the day and stuff, but this definitely seems like a league I would definitely be on board for, given, the flexibility of the rules. They're legitimately fighting in a boxing ring now.
100%, man.
there's a lot of different factors that come into play there, but that dominance by Shogun, it got me excited all over again.
Yeah, and it's like what I didn't want to do is get you excited for that Shogun to show up, because it's funny.
This is 38-year-old Shogun.
Yeah,
we've seen it with Silva.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, right? But at the same time, I have this underdog story of how I think Shogun should kind of be considered one of the GOATs of the entire sport. When you look at his come up, you kind of do the research of that Brazilian story and how legitimately he came out the star of all of those guys if Pride didn't kind of fold the way it did. Silva struck gold, if you want me to be completely honest with you. Let me break it down for you just real quickly. Silva came into the UFC, kind of took on those Lieben-style fighters. The way Silva fought was perfect for the UFC. Such a technical striker with power and very quick movements. The things that Shogun was doing in Pride that made him so good, while they are illegal and questionable, even morally, I'm sure, but, they were called soccer kicks. There was a move that they did called this. So you can't really hate on that if punches to a downed opponent is the same thing. I mean, yes, we came to our fucking senses and said, yeah, a man winding up and kicking a man in the fucking face when he's lying on his stomach is kind of brutal. So the UFC is like, no, the sport won't sell in the US if you do this. You can't do it. So not only are you taking away Shogun's best attributes, but who's in his way at light heavyweight? My God. He basically didn't bother with the middleweight division, gave it to Silva. And John Jones, unfortunately, Shogun had his little reign and lost it. So it's just funny, but you have to accept that what is intertwined in Shogun's career is direct competition with the two fighters we consider the undisputed GOATs, if you don't like Mr. Ride or Die, GSP. So, I mean, yeah, so going into what Shogun's going to have to do now, years later, I mean, yeah, we're painting a different picture. We know what's on the table here. But I really did want to take you down this trip down memory lane when it comes to Pride and Shogun's history in the sport and just how big he was before everyone had to just transition to the UFC. It's actually insane.
Yeah, and that memory lane clearly got you very choked up. So.
Yeah. Oof, sorry guys. Yeah, I've been on a little bit of a binge for the last few days trying to research these fights whenever I get that time, if you know what I mean. Oof.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a legend.
Jumping right into those odds here with Mr. Paul Craig versus Shogun. Who's the favorite and what you got?
So the thing about Paul Craig that I really want to touch on before we really get into the odds, I feel like we didn't give him much time after that Shogun spiel, but he's such a phenomenal grappler, right? I feel like the striking's getting a lot better. We saw it in his last fight. To go to the draw with, obviously the aging Shogun is still very, very good for a guy who is trying to get better when it comes to UFC level striking. And you obviously know what I mean by that.
Absolutely. And we're going to see that on full display this Saturday for sure. And so in terms of odds, who do you kind of see as the favorite in this one? What kind of number stands out to you?
I think Shogun's on a bit of a run here. I like what he's been doing, but it's just, I think it's a lot closer than maybe, I personally think this fight is really close. So even to kind of, again, sprinkling.
And I mean, they fought within the last year and it went to split decisions. So
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. So it's I'm almost, it's after that whole spiel, it's let me just go with Rua with the heart in mind, but then I will put him at a minus 105 for obvious reasons.
Ooh, so given the dog, he actually falls right into your 50-point basis range there. So
you see what I did there, Paisan? You see what I did there?
I do. This guy's trying to save himself some more heartbreak for sure. But yeah, the Bear Jew actually comes in at a minus 170 favorite. So Rua is a plus 140, right in that range that we talked about.
Wow, that's so funny that it falls right in there. And so, I mean, what? Your game proves to be correct. It really, if you ask me, do I see value in the line for Shogun? Of course. He's proven to be a gamer. I believe that he can grapple with some of the best fighters. I really do. What I'm worried about Shogun is chin. I'm worried that all of those blows over those years of just legendary fights with so many legends, it's taken its toll. He gets clipped, he looks rough, but he doesn't look that bad in the later rounds when people kind of lose the power and that
energy,
chip in there, or that edge in their step, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. And he's still coming in hot. It's not like Silva, who has been losing a lot of his recent fights. Rua fought, Paul Craig, came into a split decision and has won his other 2 fights in his last 3. So, he does have a little bit of momentum on his side.
The one thing I'll give Silva credit in that point is that the level of competition that I feel Silva is willing to take on versus who's being kind of fed to Shogun. And that's nothing against Shogun, right? I just think that when you compare the weight classes nowadays, as you move down in weight, they only get better. And so, unfortunately, the light heavyweight division is kind of a little bleak. And so Shogun kind of has a bit of an easier way right now, at least, to what is maybe a contender spot or a title shot. But on the flip side, again, with Silva, I mean, he's taking on guys who are legitimately looking for title shots. Like, these are not slouches. Yeah. These are great fighters.
For sure. And so, stay tuned for that one. We do see a little bit of value in the dog there, but we'll be able to finalize that one closer to Saturday. As usual, hit that bell button, hit that subscribe.
Ding, ding, ding,
we love all you guys. We love you tuning in, so continue to do so. We really appreciate it. Our Instagram is there. Our Twitter is there. Give us a follow. Give us a comment. Any questions you have, shoot them our way. And Siraj, thanks again for the breakdown. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably had some of the most fun looking at this one together and breaking down some of these cards and watching some live little videos there. So, I'm really excited. I think it's despite it not having the names people are used to, especially for a card dubbed as a pay-per-view with UFC 255, it's going to be good. It's going to be really, really good.
Absolutely. Make sure you tune in, guys. We'll see you Saturday.
Take it easy. Peace, my boy.
Peace.